Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Canto 10, Chapter 63, text number 1 to 6, chapter entitled Lord Krishna Fights with Banasur. We shall read a summary first and then take the verse. This chapter describes the battle between Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva, as well as Shiva's glorification of Krishna after the Lord had cut off Banasur's arms. When Aniruddha did not return from Sonitpur, his family and friends passed the 4 months of the rainy season in extreme distress. When they finally heard from Narada Muni how Aniruddha had been captured, a large army of best Yadavas warriors under Krishna's protection set off for Banasur's capital and laid siege to it. Banasur fiercely opposed them with his own army of equal size. To help Banasur, Lord Shiva, accompanied by Kartikeya and a horde of mystic sages, took up arms against Balaram and Krishna. Bana began fighting against Satyaki, and Bana's son fought against Samba. All the demigods assembled in the skies to witness the battle. With his arrows, Lord Krishna harassed the followers of Lord Shiva, and by putting Lord Shiva into a state of confusion, was able to destroy Banasur's army. Kartikeya was so strongly beaten by Pradyumna that he fled the battlefield. But the remnants of Banasur's army, harried by the blows of Banasur's club, scattered in all directions. Enraged to see his army's destruction, Banasur rushed Krishna to attack him. But the Lord immediately killed Banasur's chariot driver and broke his chariot and bow, and then he sounded his Panchajanya conch shell. Next, Banasur's mother, trying to save her son, appeared naked in front of Lord Krishna, who averted his face to avoid looking at her. Seeing his chance, Banasur fled into the city. After Lord Krishna had thoroughly defeated the ghosts and hobgoblins fighting under Lord Shiva, the Shiva Jwara weapon, a personification of fever with 3 heads and 3 legs, approached Lord Krishna to fight him. Seeing the Shiva Jwara, Krishna released his Vishnu Jwara. The Shiva Jwara was overwhelmed by the Vishnu Jwara. Having nowhere else to turn for shelter, the Shiva Jwara began to address Lord Krishna, glorifying him and asking for mercy. Lord Krishna was pleased with the Shiva Jwara, and after the Lord had promised him freedom from fear, the Shiva Jwara bowed down to him and departed. Next, Banasur returned and attacked Lord Krishna again, wielding all kinds of weapons in his 1,000 hands. But Lord Krishna took his Sudarshan Chakra and began cutting off all the demons' arms. Lord Shiva approached Krishna to pray for Banasur's life. And when the Lord agreed to spare him, he spoke as follows to Shiva. Banasur does not deserve to die, since he was born in the family of Prahlad Maharaj. I have severed all but 4 of Banasur's arms, just to destroy his false pride. And I have annihilated his army, because they were a burden to the earth. Henceforward, he will be freed from old age and death, and remaining fearless in all circumstances, he will be one of your principal attendants. Assured he had nothing to fear, Banasura then offered his obeisances to Lord Krishna and had Usha and Aniruddha seated on their wedding chariot and brought before Lord Krishna. Krishna then set off for Dwarka with Aniruddha and his bride leading the procession. When the newlyweds arrived at the Lord's capital, they were honored by the citizens, the Lord's relatives, and the Brahmanas. Hare Krishna. So this is a beautiful summary of this exciting chapter. And we shall now take the first verse. Shri Shukha Uvacha Apashatam cha niruddham Tadbandhunam cha bharata Chatvaro varshika masa Vyatiyur anusochitam Shri Shukha Uvacha Apashatam cha niruddham Tadbandhunam cha bharata Chatvaro varshika masa Vyatiyuranu sochatam Sri Shukha Uvacha Apashatam cha niruddham Tadbandhunam cha bharata Chatvaro varshika masa Vyatiyuranu sochatam. Cha niruddham Tadbandhunam cha bharata Chatvaro marshika masa Vyatiyuranu sochitam. Sri Sukha Uvacha Apashatam cha niruddham Tadbandhunam cha bharata Chatvaro varshika masa Vyatiyuranu sochatam. Ladies, Sri Shukha Uvacha Apashatam cha niruddham Tadbandhunam cha bharata Chatvaro varshika masa Vyatiyuranu sochatam. Sri Shukha Uvacha. Shukadev Goswami said, Apashyatam, who did not see, Cha and Aniruddham, Aniruddha, Tat, his Bandhunam, for the relatives, Cha and Bharata, or descendant of Bharat, Parishit Maharaj, Chatvaraha, 4 Varshikaha of the rainy season, Masaha, the months, Yatiyu, past, Anusochatam, who were lamenting. Translation. Shukdev Goswami said, O descendant of Bharat, or sons of Bharat, the relatives of Aniruddha, not seeing him return, continued to lament as the 4 rainy months passed. After hearing from Narad the news of Aniruddha's deeds and his capture, the Vrishnis who worshipped Lord Krishna as their personal deity went to Sonitpur. When Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna in the lead The chiefs of the Satvata clan, Pradyumna, Satyaki, Gada, Samba, Sarana, Nanda, Upananda, Bhadra, and others, converged with an army of 12 divisions and laid siege of Banasur's capital, completely surrounding the city on all sides. Banasur became filled with anger upon seeing them destroy his city's suburban gardens, ramparts, watchtowers, and gateways, and thus he went out to confront them with an army of equal size. Lord Rudra, accompanied by his son Kartikeya and Paramathas, came riding on Nandi, his bull carrier, to fight Balaram and Krishna on Bana's behalf, purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Sridhar Swami states that the word Bhagavan is used here to indicate that Lord Shiva is by nature all-knowing and thus well aware of Lord Krishna's greatness. Still, although Lord Shiva knew Lord Krishna would defeat him, he joined the battle against him to demonstrate the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that Lord Shiva entered the battle for two reasons. First, to increase Lord Krishna's pleasure and enthusiasm, and second, to demonstrate that the Lord's incarnation as Krishna, although enacting human-like pastimes, is superior to other avatars such as Lord Ramachandra. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti further states in this regard that Yogamaya, Lord Krishna's internal potency, bewildered Lord Shiva just as she had bewildered Brahma. In support of this statement, the Acharya cites the phrase Brahma Rudradi Mohanam from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Of course, Yogamaya's job is to make fine arrangements for the Lord's pastimes, and thus Lord Shiva became enthusiastic to battle the Supreme Lord Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Shahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakal Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. As you can see, it's getting more exciting. In the previous chapter, we were beautifully informed about the episode of Aniruddha and Usha's meeting, what looked like a very, as many devotees said in the classes, romantic aspect of the Bhagavatam. But Krishna centered, of course, so therefore it was bona fide to read and talk, and discuss and think about it. But now from the romantic aspect comes the more chivalrous aspect of Krishna, now no longer playing his flute or eating butter and chasing the cows. He's now in a very, very chivalrous mood of fighting. The Srimad Bhagavatam gives an overall view of the beautiful personality of Krishna and how, as per the need of the times, he modulates his consciousness to do just the perfect thing in the perfect manner. Because Krishna is the personification of perfection. And here, obviously, when his son is kidnapped, captured, the father will not just sit and do nothing. Right? Once you know your son is kidnapped, you will rush to that place to save your son. A grandson, of course, this is grandson, even more love. They say grandsons are more loved than sons. No? That's why Prabhupada loves us more. So yes, Krishna is a grandson, is a grandfather. So this grandfatherly emotion is coming up. He said, where's my grandson? He's been captured by someone. Of course, it is very nice to see that Krishna is all-knowing and he knows where his grandson is. Yet he depends on the celestial news given by Narada to get the information that, oh, your grandson is kidnapped by so-and-so and he's in Sonitpur. Some people were saying that is in Assam. I don't know where it came from, but yes, I believe it's in Assam. And what's most going to be exciting in this chapter is the Supreme Mahajan, Lord Shiva, and Krishna fighting. Now it can't get better than that, right, in terms of excitement. Shiva himself is a powerful warrior, very powerful warrior, a great Vaishnava. And when the two titans clash, Krishna and Shiva fighting, there cannot be a more Bhishan war than that. It's not possible. It's probably the most powerful war ever that took place in the history of the world is Shiva and Krishna fighting. And because it is so powerful cosmic event, therefore it is embedded eternally in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. For all of us to remember this very, very special event that took place. Of course, I set off thinking that Krishna had so much actually to do in one sense. We say Krishna is namam karmane limpanti, and Krishna has no work to do in one sense. But at the same time, when he comes, he does a lot of things. When you look at the whole scenario of Krishna killing not one or two demons, but we're informed that in Satya Yuga there are few demons. So there are only people like Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, a bunch of them like that. And Krishna had to come as Nrsingadev, Varahadev to kill them. And he did that very efficiently and very beautifully. And then it came to the time of Treta Yuga where you had not many demons, a little more demons. You had the primary purpose of Lord Ramchandra's descent was, of course, annihilating Ravana. All of his allies in the form of Karadushan and Kumbhakarna and others. And a few tiny bits like Subahu and Tataka and all those, small demons. But Raman just in his adolescence, he just shot them. But when it comes to Dwapar Yuga, we see the great, immense mushrooming growth of powerful demonic forces on this earth planet which we live on. Just 5,000 years back, the same planet we live on was inhabited by such powerful personalities who are anti-dharma. So in Dwapar Yuga, we can see the complete magnification, amplification of people like Jarasandha, who are so powerful. And you had all these demons like Kamsa, who was like Maharaj himself said, like a gang leader. Right? Now, his gang was not a gang of just some pickpocketeers. Or some people who just go around, doing mischief on the streets of Mumbai. They were powerful leaders who were controlling the planet. And because of his prowess, a small dog salutes a big dog, right? And so here was a powerful Kamsa, and people of the caliber of Aghasura, Putana, Vritrasura, all these people, big demons, who are themselves invincible even by the demigods. We are told Aghasura was not invincible. We were sold Bakasur. We sometimes look at this as child stories, and we sometimes look at cartoon films made by these people in the TV, and we think this is some cartoon, nice cartoon. Somebody comes as a big crane and is trying to catch people, and then the Krishna just bifurcates the. But no, it is the danger of looking at seeing Krishna in the form of cartoons is to think that he is a cartoonic figure. Therefore, I do not myself see so often. Because I fear that our children will look at this and see that Krishna is just like Donald Duck, he's just like Tintin or whatever. He's just one of those characters in the fiction books, and therefore he's like a cartoon film personality. So there's a danger in allowing so much cartoons. Of course, parents will ask them, what should they look at then? If not look at this also, then what not? I'm not talking about that aspect, but I'm just saying the fear of. Anyway, so Bakasur is not what he looks like on a cartoon film. He was not destructible even by Yamaraj. Yamadanda, which can destroy anybody and everybody, was ineffective against Bakasur. You can imagine the power, yogic power of this person? The Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, could not kill him. And he was just one in the band of Kamsa like that, who had a whole lot of. We know that at that time, Krishna had to face one demon every day. Only 18 are given in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, who were annihilated by Krishna. But they are just 18. But there were every day a demon coming from Kamsa's side. And Krishna stayed there for 10 months and for 10 years and 4 months in Brajamandal. So you can imagine the number of demons which may have come. And then of course when having done all that, very playfully of course, Krishna is very strategic that he is on one side offering his playful dimension with the Gopas and the Gopis, and reserving and keeping sacred his aspect of sweetness and intimacy and love of Braja, at the same time killing these ghastly demons. It's a very powerful activity he has to perform. But it doesn't in a very nonchalant manner, therefore it looks like something which is not doing very exertional activity. It's not exerting himself like the way Ramcha had to exert himself, to kill Ravan. Krishna is just killing all these fellows who are much more powerful than Ravan also. Bakasura was far more powerful than Ravan, immensely powerful more than Ravan. Ravan was no match. Right? And Kamsa was maybe 100 times more powerful than Ravan himself. He was extremely powerful. In fact, he is supposed to be one of the most powerful demons ever born on this planet. Anyway, so Krishna does it very nonchalantly, he just kills them like that, just like a play. So that the Braja mood of love and intimacy and closeness and, so his godhoodness, his personality of godhoodness is sort of, covered over, and his sweetness aspect never overshadows. But when he comes out into Mathura, then he takes up that more of that chivalry form, and then he's, fighting Kamsa, and he destroys him, and Kolapida and Chanur Mustik and others. Where now he's really in a fighting mood. And then he goes out further into Dwarka, then he comes out fully as a warrior. He's a warrior Krishna. Krishna now with no flute, but with bows and arrows. So we don't think of Krishna like that, do we? We think of it always the threefold binding form, Yam Sham Sundaram Achitana Guna Swarupam. Like that, we just sang the prayers. But then you see Krishna as bow and arrow and chakra and really fighting. So imagine the burden of the earth. And therefore it well justifies that Bhumi Devi had to go to Brahma, all the way to Brahmaloka, to cry out as a cow that save my planet, save me. You can have such powerful demons. Jarasandha had brought something like 17 Akshauhini divisions each time, and he attacked 23 times. 17 Akshauhini divisions. 17 Akshauhini divisions are, what are the number of people in each Akshauhini? There's like huge amount of elephants and infantry and horses and just and all of that. So how much loaded was Earth planet just 5,000 years ago? Unbelievable. Vinash chaya dushkritam. Krishna had to do this, and therefore he stayed for a long time. For more than 100 years he stayed, because he had, in one sense, so much to do. To allow the Kali Yuga to come in. When you have a large tumor in the body, and you know that it's not operable, then the surgeons call it debulking. Debulking means at least you reduce the size of the tumor. You just cut it wherever you can cut it, and at least reduce its size so it doesn't compress various surrounding structures and relieve the pressure and relieves the pain. It's called debulking. So before Kali Yuga comes in, he's sort of debulking the planet, for minimize the amount of demons that could be there and brought it to the bare minimum, so that Kali Yuga could, sort of at least you can see always this thing that the time is working in one direction to keep on things going down, dharma going down, and Krishna, who also in one sense, the impersonal form of Krishna is time, but on the other hand, he's also doing something which is on a personal level, trying to keep the dharma intact. So one is the time factor which allows things to go down. Other side is Krishna, who tries to maintain things as they are. So we can see there's always this beautiful thing happening between time and Krishna. So just become conscious of this fact that how much the earth is overburdened by demons. And we can imagine now in Kali Yuga, how many more demons must be there now? How many more demons? We are sometimes not aware, but practically in Prabhupada's language, it can be censored sometimes when Prabhupada says this very controversial, that anybody who is not a devotee is a demon. Prabhupada is very radical. The founder Acharya is always very curt and very straightforward and no grey. He's like white and black. Asura sa viprayaha. So anybody who is not Vishnu Bhakta is Asura, is opposite of Asura, is opposite of devotees. So everyone practically who is not really accepting Krishna's supremacy in his life and bowing down to him in respect and honor and reverence, actually in Krishna, in Prabhupada's words, Acharya's terms, is a demon. Right? So you can see the whole planet is practically filled with so much demonic forces. Right? So that's what came to my mind as I read this, it's said in the purport here. So the more exciting part is yet to come, where the fight actually starts. So we will not get into the fight part now, because we'll reserve that for the other speakers to speak on. But please stay tuned into this next few verses which come from this chapter, because it will be very nice. I read the prayers of the Shiva Jwara the other day, and I honestly felt they were some of the most beautiful prayers which I've read. So it's philosophically powerful, loaded with realization. Shiva Jwara, when he surrenders to Krishna, beautiful, beautiful. And of course, in the end, there is a Falashruti which is said in the chapter that anybody who remembers this pastime of Krishna and Shiva fighting, when he gets up in the morning, will never be defeated. Will never be defeated. So I thought, yes, that's nice, because we are all getting defeated by the power of death. And we're getting defeated with the power of illusion. Right? So we're getting defeated at all times. So yes, we want to live a lifestyle whereby we can overcome. Because every life we've been defeated by death like this. Every life. And this story is especially given in the Srimad Bhagavatam to actually counteract the power of not getting defeated again and again and again by the cruel hands of death. Right? So these stories are extremely beautiful and very, very relevant. And remembering them regularly has got deep, deep meaning. Even when you remember Radhanath Swami giving the classes on Chaitanya Charitamrita, he'll tell a story and then the author, Vrindavan Das gives that when anyone who hears a story with faith will be so and so. It happens. So these stories are here to increase the amount of spiritual piety of our hearts and enrich us with the blessings which are contained within these stories by hearing them with faith. So there is an immense amount of gain to really load our consciousness with so much of positivity of consciousness. And that's the only way you can dry out the negativity, the darkness, the andhasya, the ignorance we can dry out only by adding more and more light of Krishna in our lives. We cannot really remove illusion because there's nothing, no process to remove darkness. There is no technology to remove darkness. It will never come in the world, no matter what the scientists do. You can never remove darkness. You can only add light. You add light and therefore darkness goes away. Right? So when you add more Krishna consciousness by hearing these beautiful stories in the Bhagavatam, then the illusions of our hearts gradually move out. And the heart is fully illuminated. And when the cave of the heart is illuminated, you see Krishna in your heart. You see Krishna right there in your heart. Just like he showed himself to Muchakunda, the dark cave where he was staying for so many thousands of millions of years sleeping. So our soul also is sleeping in our own cave of the consciousness. And when Krishna enters there, he's there in our heart, just like he was there in the cave. But then when you remove the illusion around, then you can see Krishna. You can actually see Krishna, the beautiful boy of Vrindavan, within your own heart. But for that we have to remove the darkness. So then as I was saying, that Kali Yuga is, Krishna does all this debulking of demons so that Kali Yuga can come in. And then with the increase of demonic forces, it was impossible to Krishna to devise a mechanism to kill them. It was impossible for him to do that in one sense, because how many people he would kill? In Dwapar Yuga itself was a big challenge of killing so many demonic forces. And you have, Dantavakra and Shalva and Shishupal and all these, so many people, and they are not just one people, each one had huge millions of armies. Each person was having millions of people in his army. So how much destruction was necessary in Dwapar Yuga itself? In Kali Yuga, there will be complete debulking, there will be nobody on the planet practically. The planet will be barren with no human beings, except a few brahmacharis and some swamis, just some Vaishnavas, Sri Sampradaya and Madhvacharya Sampradaya. Some Vaishnavas are just roaming around the earth and nobody else is there on the planet. So no, Krishna did not think that was the right thing to do, to kill. So there was no vinashaj dushkritam in physical sense, and therefore the Lord came as Gaur and Nitai. It is so beautiful to see and appreciate this thing. I said this about Dwapar Yuga, especially to make us understand that why Krishna has come in a non-aggressive manner. Why Krishna came in a non-violent form, with no weapons this time, absolutely, de-armed, unarmed. He says, see, I have nothing. He's just showing in his hands, Gaurnita, I have nothing in my hands. Just look at this. My hands are like you go to the airport, right? And they have this custom, you just stand like that. And and they just say, okay, yeah, I have nothing. No arms, no knives, no hand grenades, nothing. I'm carrying no arms in the flight, right? So Krishna, Gaurnita has come like this. He's not carrying any arms. Only once in a rare stray case, when Jagai Madhava really getting a lot of nonsense, then he had to invoke himself as chakra, but he didn't use it. It is okay. Nityan said, this is not for this yuga. I'm reminding you, my dear Lord, this is not for this yuga. This was all for Dwapar and Kali, previous time. This is even Kali Yuga. We are not going to kill anybody. Didn't we say that? Didn't we discuss this before we came here? Okay. Krishna, okay. So you have saved the life of Jagai. So Madha is spared. And then the whole story unfolds further, where practically Gaurnita take a completely non-violent attitude, even though there is so much to enrage them, but they use the power far more than the power of weapons. That's interesting. They're still going to kill, because that's in one sense, their love. That they have to create a sense of peace in the Kali Yuga, where so much anarchy is there. But they're going to use this not chakra or bows and arrows. They're going to use the power of their love. And who can dominate, who can really overcome the power of God's love? There's nothing more powerful than God. God is the one who is most powerful. That's why He is God. Aishwarya samagrasya virasya shriya All opulences are there. 6 and even more. Huh? But if God is so powerful, what is the power of God's love? Yeah, that's an interesting subject to think about. And God's love to the max is Gaur and Nitai. Yes, he has that same love when he comes as Nrsimhadev as well. Huh? But it does not reveal that love. It reveals it only to Prahlad. That's all. Exclusively only one. Does not reveal that love. It comes as Lord Ramchandra. He gives that love to Mother Sita, and to Lakshman, and to Lord and Hanuman, and to Vibhishan, and to Sugriva, some of his friends, and to the monkeys, but not everyone. When Krishna comes to Krishna, he reveals more, exclusively only to the land of Braja. He shows us love, unlimited love, unfathomable sweet love, which drove the residents of Vrindavan crazy. They fell in love so badly with Krishna that they could not imagine life without him. And therefore when he left, they were actually so pained by the hands of Akrura. He said, Akrura has taken away our life. He's not taken away Krishna, he's taken away our life. And the Yamuna became lifeless. She was not flowing anymore. The calves became lifeless, they could not suck anymore. The wind became lifeless, it could not blow anymore. There was no life in Braj. The life of Braj, Brajraj, was not there. Right? They took away Krishna's. But when he comes as Gaur Nitai, this time, he gives his love profusely to anyone and everyone. Patra apatra na dekhi, sthana sthan. He sees absolutely no qualification. Imagine God, even for a simple stupid exam like 12th standard, 10th, you have an entrance exam. And then you know to go into IIT, then there's a separate courses for getting into IIT. So there's a separate entrance exam for learning about the entrance exam of IIT. Right? I'm told like that. There's an entrance exam to get into the course which gives you entrance into the IIT. You cannot get more crazier than this. It's stupid. And then MBBS, entrance exams. This exam, that exam, CET, CAT, BAT, GET, DOG, everything there. It's all that. It's making a dog out of all of us. Just for what? Just for a job. That's why I said the word dog. Just to get a job. Animals don't work like us. The dogs don't work hard like us. And they get food on the road. Someone just throws something, just eat it. And human being, most evolved species, the most advanced person, the most exotic technology, the most powerful mobiles, and iPhone 6 and all that, right? 7 has come or 6 is there? I don't know, I'm not keeping track of all that. I just still have my very old mobile, 19th century mobile. Yes, technology, huge technology, but what is your attitude inside? It's the technology of a dog. Going to every person, giving application to every corporate, said, can you give me a job, please? Can you give me a job? Can you give me a job? Like a Prabhupada says, like a dog, you go to every company begging for a job. Like a dog goes to every house begging for a morsel of food. Right? Yes. So, in Kali Yuga, everyone is disqualified, very badly disqualified. As I said before, from all our demoniac tendencies, we are worthy of being slashed to death by the chakra. That's how sinful we have been in this life and in the past lives. We are not worthy of living on the planet. We should be killed by Krishna. But he comes as Gaur Nitai, with his power of love. And he overwhelms. He comes with the Panchatattva and opens house, opens a box of treasure. Like you and I have our treasury box. Now some of you have, I'm sure, some of you have your safe deposit vault, right? I'm sure some of you do have. Don't raise your hands. But what do you keep in your treasure in your safe deposit vault? Aloo, bhaji. No, you keep diamonds, right? You keep money. You keep gold. You keep your LIC policies. Your special documents of proprietorship over your ancestral house is all there. And no brother or sister can catch it. It's away from everybody. It's safe. You keep your most choicest things in your own safe deposit vault, which is most dear to you, which you never want to get stolen. When a thief breaks into your house, he will not get that because it is there. The Lord has His own treasury box. That's how this treasury box concept comes in this world. He has His own safe deposit vault, which contains His own love, the key of which is not available to anybody in the previous yugas. But when Gaura comes in this house, now just imagine, take the analogy a little further. Now you have the key to the vault, right? You have your key. Where do you keep the key? Just hanging outside? Just where everyone says, this is the key of the vault. This is the key. You keep it also, that key is kept in a very safe place, which nobody knows. Maybe you and your husband or your wife, just a few people. Secret, right? Everyone is thinking of your key, right? You know where everyone's thinking where the key of your house is. In the cupboard, in the left side, under that, in the pocket, a red colored bag. It's like that. Number so and so, right? So Krishna has that also, but He does not give the key to anybody. So nobody has access to that treasure of Krishna's heart's love. But when Gaura comes, He makes 6.5 billion copies of that key. Around 7.2 billion, how many people are there? How many human beings? He makes unlimited copies. Not human beings, everybody. He makes unlimited copies of this key and give this key to everyone he meets on the road. He said, this key is for you, it's for you, everybody. That's how merciful God can be when He comes as Gaura. That supreme aspiration of Panchama Purushartha, Purushartha Shiromani, which is so rare to access in previous yugas. Through all the dharmic activities and more, through all the tapasya and the dharma anusthans and various yagyas and various pilgrimages and various Radha ceremonies and so much of ekadashis and so much more dharma you can perform, all that gives you no access to Krishna's love at all. It just gives you punya, which gives you rise to higher levels of consciousness and higher levels of enjoyment in the heavenly planets. That's all. But it does not take you beyond the three modes of material nature and never beyond the material universe and material consciousness. There is no dharmic activity prescribed in the Shastra which takes you beyond this universe, the cycle of birth and death. It's not there. In none of the Vedic literatures you will find that. It's all within the realm of the three modes, and therefore only can give you the max is Brahmaloka and not beyond. That's the limit of the Vedic literatures can give you access to. If you have to experience deathlessness, I come back to deathlessness because the story is about deathlessness. It does not defeat you from the hands of death. And that's what a transcendentalist is all about. Now, please remember, all of you sitting in this room, you may think you are simple people, but you all are not. In Prabhupada's language, all of you are called as transcendentalist. Did you know that? Prabhupada says, anybody who accepts the path of bhakti is a transcendentalist. Now that's what all of you are. And what is a transcendentalist? A transcendentalist is a person who wants to overcome death. He wants to transcend the tyranny and the cruelty of experiencing death, life after life after life, in an endless cycle of birth and death. One wants to overcome that is called a transcendentalist. There are two varieties, Mayavadis and Bhakti Yogis. We are in the latter category, right? But we are transcendentalists. We want to overcome death, right? So here is God taking you far beyond dharma, far beyond artha, far beyond kama, and believe it or not, even beyond moksha. Moksha means liberation. Moksha means freedom from all suffering forever. But Gaura takes you beyond moksha. It takes you to the realm of prema. The realm of prema is beyond moksha. And that prema is not a commodity of the material world. It only resides in the planet of Vaikuntha, where every relationship of the Vaikuntha Vasi, Goloka Vasi, is exchange of that prema with God, with Krishna, with Rama, with Narsingha. That is a property, a commodity which is existing only beyond material cosmos. He brings that. God brings that unlimited love. That's why it says, Golokera Prema Dhana. This dhana is called as Prema Dhana. How do we access that? When I said the word key, the key to that Krishna's treasure chest. What is the key to the chest? Harinama Sankirtana. This beautiful chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This chanting which we take so cheap. When you say you and I, all of us, we take so cheap because we got it so easy. We take things cheap which we get easily. It's very simple. When you get a job after giving a million, for applying to a million places, you get a job. That job is very important for you. You get terrorized by the boss, but you won't leave that job because that's the only job I have. If I give this job up, my family starves. So you get completely scandalized by your boss and your colleagues, but you don't give up that job. It's a rare thing you have. You got the job after applying to a million places. Yes, same thing. We have passed a million lifetimes and we got this. We got Krishna's love, access to Krishna's own heart, His own love, Krishna's love. We have the form of this beautiful holy name. Let's not ever take it cheap. Let's not ever take it cheap. We may lose our job, we may lose our head, we may lose your good image in society, you may lose your house. Let's not lose Krishna's mercy in the form of the holy name. Thakur Haridas talks like that. When he comes out, again, when he gets revived back from his samadhi, and then the Chand Kazi comes and surrenders to him, said, oh, we thought you are a crazy man, but now we can see you are a man of God. We tried to beat you up in 22 marketplaces, yet you were not killed. And we threw you into the Ganges, floating like a piece of garbage, and you have come out again live and well. You are a saint. And then Harisakur says this statement. He said, yes, never think the holy name to be ordinary. And whatever happens in your life, never give up the holy name. He makes a declaration telling you and me and all future generations that never, you can give up anything in this world, but never give up one thing which you have. And what is that? The holy names of Krishna. That is the verdict and the declaration and the plea of the Namacharya. And that love of Gaur Nitai we see in a most beautiful manner manifest in this festival called as the Dahinchida Utsav. This is a very special event. It took place in a very special place called as Pani Hati. Pani Hati is in the Navadip Mandal on the bank of the Ganga, right? And that's where Raghunath Das Goswami sort of met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the first time. Now he wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very bad. You know the story. We'll be brief about it. But here is a person who is actually a multi-millionaire person, Raghunath Das Goswami, son of Gordhan Mazumdar, uncle is Hiranya Mazumdar, and they were zamindars. And what was their amount of property and money they had? They were like kings practically. They had a special deal with the king, the Nawab, So they were given exclusive rights to collect taxes from Saptagram. We have been there with Radhanath Swami, we've seen the huge place, and all taxes would come to them. All the taxes of all the people. And they would keep, they was allowed to keep 1/4 as their profit and give 3/4 to the government. And that 1/4 amounted to something like 5 lakhs of gold coins. in which Jamana we're talking about? This is in the 15th century. Now, how many of you have so many gold coins? Don't raise your hands. Now, if you have one gold biscuit, how you think you're very wealthy, right? It's one biscuit, non-chewable biscuit, non-edible biscuit. I have one gold biscuit of 100 grams. I have got 5 grams, 5 biscuits, 10 biscuits. Now, this man is having, so many gold coins, right? And that was just his monthly income. So you can imagine the amount of wealth of which Raghunath Das Goswami was the exclusive heir. There's no brothers, no rivals, no siblings. Everything was going to be his. But it is so beautiful to see that this man who owns so much, but he has now access to the mercy of God Nitai. And therefore he finds all this wealth completely non-palatable. He finds it completely uninteresting to get involved in all these things. So when he was told by the Lord that, okay, don't worry, for the time being you just be like a pounds and shilling man and do your work as if you're a regular businessman, handle your father's business properly, and within a heart of hearts you cultivate a deep desire to be with me. And he did exactly that. So he would try to run away and join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu full time in his service, like some of our brahmacharis had to do, just run away from the house, right? But then he had 12 guards always catching hold of him, and he would go in the middle of the night and they would nab him again and bring him back to the house, right? So he was sort of, in one sense, getting impatient. And when can I really surrender my life wholesale? There should be the desire of everybody, all of us. When can give our life? When can give our life to the Lord wholesale? We want to give ourselves fully to Krishna. We're just giving up a little donation, a little bit of time to chanting, a little bit this, a little bit that. But when can we give ourselves in from our hearts, my dear Lord, the 3 magic words, I am yours. When can we say that with conviction and faith? My dear Lord, I am yours. Raghunath Das Swami had said that to his own heart. My dear Lord, I am yours, and I want to really give myself to you fully. But he couldn't do that physically. Scott. But he devised a plan, very intelligent plan. If you want to go to God, then you go to someone who is most loved by God. This is the secret of bhakti. Why do we take diksha from the spiritual master? It's a very special reason. Not just so that we can get a stamp of getting das and dasi's name. That's the external part of it. But we want to give our lives to our Guru because that's the way Krishna recognizes us. He will not recognize us till we really surrender in love to his loved one. And the Sri Guru is Krishna's loved one. So we want to surrender our lives to him. So he devised a plan that says, I will surrender my life and meet first Nityananda Prabhu. If Nityananda Prabhu is pleased with me, then I can have access to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So it was very intelligent, very strategic plan. So I went to meet Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu at Panihati. And there he was sitting there, and a beautiful banyan tree, it is described. But a lot of his devotees, associates sitting around him on this nice platform, and the names are given. Sankarshan was there, and Hoda Krishna Das was there, and Pradyumna was there, and Sadashi was there, and Ramdas was there, Gadadhar was there. The names are given. Udarandatta was there. So many of them, all his associates were sitting there. And he saw the brilliance of Nityananda Prabhu shining like a million suns. Offered his pranams at a distance. My pranams offered to him from a distance. So, oh, you are there, you are hiding, come here, you chore, you come here. Like a chore, a chore never comes in front of him. Like chore does something from the far. You come here, you chore. And Nityananda Prabhu caught hold of him. It was always very unpredictable behavior. You don't know what he will do. Gauranga Prabhu is very predictable. Gauranga Prabhu is like, He will do like that. Nityananda Prabhu is totally unpredictable. He's kept all of his, he said, come here, and forcibly put his leg on his head. Imagine Raghunath Goswami's fortune. Here is Nityananda Prabhu Balaram, getting, the greatest treasure of the dust of Nityananda Prabhu is on his head. And he said, yes, I'm going to punish you now. I said, yes, punish me, what do I want to do? You feed all my people here with dahi and chida today, okay? That's your punishment. How happy that made him. He just ran into the market and said he purchased all the dahi and all the chida. Chida means pawa, right? Chida is pawa in Bengali language. So there is this festival is described, how beautiful the festival was. He said they brought about 7 huge earthen pots. And when you see the word huge, it is really huge. You don't see those huge pots today. I saw the biggest pot I saw was at Nandagaon. At Nandagaon, when you go up to Nandagaon temple, there is a huge pot there in which Yashoda Mai would churn butter for Krishna. And that's a pot which is like about 5 human beings can fit into that. Really, I'm not joking. You can see it's still there. It's like a huge pot, so big, so big. So they bought something like that. In those days, everything was mud. Everything was natural, eco-friendly. Now we talk about it as if it is a big thing. But it is just a way of life. The basic way of life was eco-friendly. But now it's like a technology, and people talk big things about it. Anyway, so the huge earthen pots, 7 of them. So you can imagine how much. What they did was they brought so much of pawa. It's not few kilos. It probably went into hundreds and hundreds of kilos. Maybe a few tons of pawa must have been used. So they soaked all that. Now remember, please look at this recipe. Okay, it's a very special recipe. It's a recipe which God likes, which Krishna likes. So it's Krishna's favorite dish. Nityananda's favorite. So this is a very special recipe. So you have a hot milk and you soak a whole use of this chida into that. Okay, soak. So kya ban gaya abhi? Doodh pawa, right? Which all of us have on, what is that day? Doodh pawa? This Sharad Purnima, right? Sharad Purnima. Right. So doodh pawa, okay. Then you bring dahi and you bring condensed milk. Condensed milk matlab kya? Rabdi. Rabdi. Okay. So then that soaked milk you put it into, we add dahi to that, 1/2, other half you put into condensed milk, right? And the first half you put also sugar and bananas. And second half you put sugar, bananas, special banana called champakila. I don't know what it is, but it is there. I'm told by my friend Giriraj Prabhu that it doesn't exist anymore. All these bananas have become extinct. There are a lot of varieties of bananas. Abhi milta nahi hai. Champakila. Then you add a bit of ghee and some camphor. Right? So you have these 2 dishes are there. So you prepare this like that, and there's a brahmanas who start mixing the whole thing. Very special dishes there. And then they brought about 400 large round earthen pots, it is said. And now there is going to be distribution. Already are watering already? We are already watering now. So then they had this huge thing, and this news spread because no internet, of course, was there, but such things news spread. Such news usually spread. There is free distribution of dahi chida taking place in Panihati. So every respectable man in the village and around, the brahmanas, the priests, the pujaris, the common people, everybody just started flocking to that place. You can imagine now, this place is now getting filled up with a lot of people, and the word used by Kaviraj Swami is asankhya. He cannot count. Asankhya people were there. So many people started coming from everywhere for enjoying this beautiful festival on the bank of the Ganga. And you can see now, Nityananda Prabhu is completely in the mood of being a coward boy. But Nityananda Prabhu is now by now a grown-up man. He is 12 years up, elder to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Prabhu was now this chapter is given in the Antya Leela. So Mahaprabhu was already, in his 40s. Mahaprabhu lived in this world for 48 years. So Mahaprabhu is in his 40s by now. So Nityananda Prabhu is now about early 50s. But he's in the mood of a coward boy. As if he's in his, like a teen, in his teens. This is Yogamaya. Nityananda Prabhu is in his Yogamaya potency. He goes into this and thinks all these people are sitting there are all his covered boyfriends, and they are reenacting the Leela that took place in Dwapar Yuga, the bank of the Jamuna. Right? So this is their mood, this is the consciousness. Therefore, they're fully absorbed in their Krishna Leela pastime in Kali Yuga. Anyway, people started coming in, so many of them, right? And then they started distribution. 20 people, 20 Brahmanas were distributing. So a lot of people were required to distribute. Sat in rows, right? And he was given 2 pots, one containing the Dudwala, another containing the Dahiwala. 2 pots. And everyone got the pots, and everyone started sitting down around the Chabutra. And after the Chabutra was filled, and then another place was filled around the Chabutra, right? And then there's no place because it is exactly on the bank of the Ganga. If you go today also, you will see just a few meters away is the Ganga, right? So there's no place. This part was already filled up with a lot of people coming from there, and this side of the bank was the Ganga. So where to sit now? Sit in the Ganga. So then all with the pots, they all went into the Ganga. Some so many deep, some so deep, some so deep, but hands up like that, only 2 pots, So it must be a very beautiful scene, right? Everyone is completely absorbed, so happy. Nityananda was so happy, the devotees are so happy, they're getting the 2 most delicious foods to eat. It is not pizza. It's not Navratana Kurma. Right? It is the most simple thing a poor man can make. God's pleasures are so simple. Right? We don't have to be really exotic to be happy. And you can just, Balram says this, Nityananda Prabhu says that I'm a covered boy and my pleasure is so simple. I have picnic. This is there. I like to have picnic with my friends on the bank of the Ganga and eat dahi chida. This is their joy. So life's joy sometimes are in just doing simple things. We don't have to really do something extraordinary to become happy. Just being with the Lord and being with the Lord's devotees, and having the nice Ganga next to you, and the nice scene around you of serenity and calm, and completely no material desires, no anxiety, no envy, no lust, nothing. Just simply exchanging love. And Nityananda Prabhu does something magical. He said, I cannot enjoy this alone. What about my brother? I must call my brother also. So he mistakenly calls Mahaprabhu Chaitanya from Jagannath Puri. Phew. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot deny the call, the hotline call of Nityananda Prabhu. He cannot deny that. They are inseparable. Dui Prabhu. They are two brothers in one consciousness. Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Prabhu just comes. Invisibly comes. And Nityananda Prabhu gets up and greets him. And nobody can see. It's invisible activity. The very old serial was called Invisible Man. Many years back there was a serial like that. Invisible. I was in a small boy. I used to see that. Invisible Man. So Chaitanya Prabhu comes as invisible. Nobody sees. Only few devotees can see, especially associates. And then what they do is very funny. They start walking through the rows of all these rows of devotees sitting there, all the people sitting there. And Nityananda Prabhu takes one morsel from somebody's lota pot and puts it into Chaitanya Prabhu's mouth. Jutha. Param Satya can have jutha also of his devotees. And Chaitanya Prabhu then takes from somebody else's pot, invisible to anybody, and puts it in Nityananda Prabhu's mouth. And they're having such fun. And those are seeing it, are just enjoying it. And they're laughing and they're joking. And Nityananda Prabhu sits down and they said, Mahaprabhu, sit here, sit here. And tells all the devotees, now all of you say, Hari Hari! Hari Hari! Hari Hari! So the woman is talking. The one is talking, everyone is just chanting, they're eating, enjoying, Hari, 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 Hari. And they're going on serving, all these large pots, everyone is serving, having a nice time. Majja. Spiritual life is all about only majja. No anxieties. Material life means all about saja. Saja. Just being punished. Saja of what? Saja of your own karmas. You are punishing yourself by your own kukarma. You cook your own karma. Right? And you get boiled over and fried over by that again in your next life or this life. So this anadi karma phale, pori bhavar nava jale, this karma cycle going on for millions of lifetimes, saja. But spiritual life is all about anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam. This is a glimpse, this is a story of maja, of bliss, spiritual bliss. And And who's the happiest person here? The happiest person here is Raghunath Das Goswami. He is just so happy to see his Lord happy. He's so happy to see the Lord's associates so happy. Huh? So here you can see this beautiful psychology of joy coming in when we give joy. When you give pleasure, you get pleasure. When you give love, you get love. This is basic human nature. The whole world is terrorizing us, practically brainwashing us to get into consciousness of taking, grabbing, stealing, like that. Huh? Right? But no one is being taught the beauty of the art of giving. Real civilized life, real devotional life is all about giving. What is a mother? What is a mother's joy of her life? This is a supreme example in the material world. Her joy is to sacrifice her sleep and her comforts and her peace of mind for the benefit of her child. Right? She gets practically nothing for that. No payment, no accolades, no garlands, no trophies, nothing. But all of us who are sitting in this room and out, right, have experienced this love of a selfless mother. And she is just so happy doing it. Why is she happy doing it? Because in giving herself, she receives deep satisfaction. Right? So this is the principle of life actually. The principle of life should be the Dadati principle. Giving. When you give, we have heard so many times the word this, right? So giving is receiving. Giving is receiving. But did we think about it deeply? Did we meditate on this beautiful phrase, beautiful idiom, beautiful proverb, beautiful principle of life in giving? Right? Mother's example. The clouds are giving. The trees are giving. The sun is giving. The moon is giving. Whole nature is simply giving, bountifully giving. The mother is giving. The father is giving. And that's the principle of life we can see in nature all around us. We are part of nature. We must also get into this mood of giving. What is Prabhupada's glory? What is Prabhupada's glory? Why is he put on this pedestal where we worship him? Because he gave and gave and gave and gave. Not just few just rupees or some food to the anath and some houses to stay for the destabilized earthquake-ridden people. That is nice. But he gave people Krishna. He gave them God. Because he had God. He had Krishna's love with him. That's why we glorify him as the greatest giver ever born in this world. He gave the whole world, the Western Hemisphere, the Eastern Hemisphere, the Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. He gave the whole world Krishna. That's why he's worthy of being put on there and worshipped. No envy for him because he did what he's worthy of all worship because he gave the world Krishna. Right? And he told all of us to do the same thing. What is a saint? He just gives. What is a chore? He takes. That's a chore. Sthena evacha. Prabhupada, the Bhagavatam says, Sthena evacha. Sthena means a thief. So in that regard, all of us are thieves. Because we have taken from Krishna. We have taken from nature. We have taken from our mothers. But we don't give. Only that person who gives can be happy. It's a very strange story. A real life story I heard the day before yesterday from one of my patients. Very painful story of selfishness. Complete contradiction to the giving principle. The person was admitted in the hospital with paralysis. The old man of 84 years, he worked for the Indian Army. 3 brothers and 1 sister. So they've been my patient for many years. And he came, he was paralyzed, we put him in the ICU several days, and he got infected with some other bacteria when he was in ICU, put him in the wards. He stayed, I'll make it short. He was there for 50 days in the hospital. And during this day, I would always interact with his two sons, the younger brother and the elder brother. I would interact with them and they would say, I would take turns and sitting, and one would go home and would sit. So they all take care of them. I felt they're nice people. I said, nice Sindhi family, and very, very loving, very caring. I would interact with them. And no, he would have died long back. By Krishna's mercy, he was saved from this huge paralysis. Half the brain was practically destroyed in paralysis. Half the brain was not working. But he survived and he became even conscious. That was miraculous, right? And he went home. And the man spent 7 lakhs of rupees to save his father's life. Because he had gone to so much treatment was necessary to save his life. And the most painful part is, the day he was getting discharged, the parents were staying with the younger brother, right? The day he was going to get discharged, the younger brother, and he would have been discharged by about 7 o'clock in the evening, after all the formalities of paperwork and everything else. At 5 o'clock, the younger brother leaves his home with his wife, untold. Doesn't tell his elder brother. He just leaves the house, because he knew that the father would come to my house. And he had a tracheostomy in his neck, and he would require nursing care. We have one nurse would be required in the daytime, one nurse would be required in the night time, and one ward boy would be required to take care of all his other needs. So at least we're going to spend about 1 lakh rupees per month. And then all the infection which he was carrying, which is now much less, but now the rest would be at home. The young brother just elopes from the house because he does not want to take care of his father, without telling his elder brother. After 3.5 lakhs rupees were already spent by the elder brother, he tells the young brother, can you now share part of this load? Because this 3.5 lakhs is becoming huge for me. He was a middle class man and is working in a bank. It's becoming too much for me. I have already broken my law from my FDs, and can you? He said, why don't you go and ask the middle brother? Why asking me for money? And the elder brother who stays in Nasik never came to see the father. The sister who was staying at Dahisar just came once to pay attendance, right? And this man has spent 7 lakhs of lower middle class man, spent 7 lakhs of hard-earned money. In 2 years he'll be retiring. All his savings are wiped off. And the younger brother has completely run away from the situation because he doesn't want to take care of his aged 84-year-old father and mother. This complete contrast to the giving principle, complete, utter, gross selfishness and cruelty to aging parents. This is the cruel world we live in today, where you are not even having any obligation to your aged father, who from the armies had raised you up and brought up 4 children and made them what they are today, settled them, got them married. But today, because he's suffering, he needs you. And you took care of him for so many days because he was all right and he was drawing his pension and he was giving the pension to you. But now he's old and pension is only 12,000 per month and he's going to need 1 lakh per month. He ran away. So this is against the giving principle. So spiritual life is not about just chanting and going to the temples. That's the integral part of it. But what we learn in the temple is how to give ourselves to Krishna, to our parents, to our loved ones, to our families, and to the world. That's what spiritual life is all about. It starts with just first giving to your parents and to your children. Let's not practice that selfishness at least. But it is so very common. I find so many people in the hospital abandoned by children. Aged parents just dumped in the hospital and just go away. No one to take care. So we have to grow out of this syndrome of utter selfishness. Give yourself. In giving, you will become rich. You will become a rich person. What happens when we don't give? Okay, you said, why should we give? Why should we give? It all belongs to me. When you don't give, there's a big problem. You become hard-hearted. Serious problem. Now we are practicing spiritual life, And you can, the roots of Krishna's, the Bhaktivedanta beej, is a seed. And everyone knows a seed can only enter into a soft soil, right? Everyone knows in a hard, rocky soil, the seed cannot, the roots cannot even penetrate because you have to have a porous, you plow, you put earthworms. Why? To make the soil porous. Now if you have a hard heart, the holy name does not act on your heart. Any amount of chanting holy names, even 64 rounds per day, will not act unless the heart is made porous by giving. So along with the practice of chanting, which is the Yuga Dharma, we must also cultivate the right attitudes in our hearts and make it soft so that the mercy of Krishna, the key which we talked about earlier, the key of Gaurnita is love, which we have so close to our hearts now. That key you have been given by the Lord. And the key is with you. It's with you in your hand. But the next thing you have to do is to cultivate a soft heart. So the holy name, the seed, when it sucks the mercy of the holy name and goes into rootlet formation, it will penetrate into the soil of your consciousness. But only penetrate into the soil of your consciousness if your consciousness is made soft. When you give, your heart becomes soft. If you don't give, even Krishna Consciousness, it's not for you alone, it's for sharing. Prabhupada was given so much by his Guru Maharaj, and he felt a burning desire to give out what he had received from his Guru and from the Parampara and from Krishna. And I must give this, even if I die in Jaluta, it's all right. I have to give this to everybody. The hippies and the non-hippies and the Indians and the Americans, the Brahmanas, the Kshatriya, the Africans, the Aborigines, the Alaskans, everybody. I must give this to everybody. That was his desire, to give. Right? And all his disciples, they took this mood from Prabhupada and they gave away. The three couples, they went and gave away to London. Somebody went and gave it to Hong Kong. Somebody gave it to China. Brahman Prabhu went and gave it to Africa. Bhaktivedanta Maharaj gave it to Russia. They all took this legacy of Prabhupada. They took from Prabhupada. He was giving so much to them. They couldn't hold it themselves. They give out. Give out. That's what is Krishna consciousness. We take from Sri Guru. We take from the Parampara. Right? And we give out. Give out. Give out love. This world is in need of nothing else. We do not want better mobiles in this world. It's a useless drain of human consciousness. What a complete bogus use of this human intelligence to just create better machines. What a complete waste of human resources and human intelligence. The best use of human intelligence is to learn how to love. Is there any scarcity in this world except the scarcity of love? Would not agree? Right? There is one scarcity in the world, as far as I can see. Whatever little I can see the world around me. The other day Prabhuji was giving some statistics about the hungry people in this world. One of our friends was giving hungry people, he was giving some data. Yes, there's hunger of food, yes. But the hunger of food comes from the hunger of love. But there's no love, that people are not sharing the food they have. So basic cause is not hunger of food, is a vacant heart. The heart which has not received any love. So we want to give. When you give, you will receive satisfaction. You make a soft heart, and then you will receive Krishna's grace. When Krishna sees that you are giving what Krishna is, when your wealth, your love, children, what do we give? We give them our time. To our wives and husbands, we give them our commitment of relationship. Everything is giving. Husband, wife, what is this? What is husband and wife? It's giving principle here also. When there's a taking principle, it becomes into a divorce. When there's giving principle, what is the giving principle in marriage? I give my commitment to this relationship. And I will take care of the relationship till I die. It's a giving principle. Right? So then when you have a giving principle in a marriage, it sustains till death and even sometimes beyond. Right? It's based on the giving principle. Giving makes things eternal. Hare Krishna. Right? So we give our relationships, we give our love, we give everything which we have. It's not just about money, a donation. That's superficial part of giving. That's good. It's always nice because so much is required for the expansion. But in general, when I'm chanting my rounds, what am I really doing? I'm trying to give myself to the holy name. It's a giving principle in chanting as well. When I chant, I only get from the holy name to the extent I give myself to the holy name. When I chant and give my consciousness to the holy name in surrender, in shelter, I receive back Krishna's grace. So chanting is all about giving. What is happening in a kirtan? I give my consciousness by singing in chorus. What happens in a yatra? When you go on a yatra, holy pilgrimage with thousands of sadhus, you give yourself to hearing the spiritual master speaking. The spiritual master is giving. The spiritual master comes in the yatra, or a pure devotee comes in the yatra and gives himself. Whatever he has got is his most pristine realization of his life. His consciousness, his Krishna consciousness. He is sharing with all his followers who are hearing him. He is also giving. What is the audience doing? They give their full receptivity. Like Parishad Maharaj is giving his full ears to hearing Shri Shuka Uvacha. What Shuka is saying, Parishad Maharaj is giving his complete hearing. Arjuna is giving his hearing to Krishna, fully absorbed, hearing. So yatra is all about hearing from the spiritual master, singing and giving yourself in services, to various services you perform as, a team leader, or, packing prasadam, or standing with a plaque on a road bend, showing people the left, right. You're just giving. You're giving of your time. So life in general has to be governed by the principle of giving. And that's the highest lesson to learn from this Daichida festival. Das Goswami's joy of just giving to the Lord and his devotees. Let's chant with this mood of giving yourself to the Lord, to the holy name. And when you give yourself to Krishna, what happens? What happens? Krishna gives himself to you. Wow. We give a part of our consciousness, and we are so tiny. What can we really give? What do we really have to give? What do we possess really to give? And even we think we possess something, it's not really ours at all. It belongs to Krishna in any case. So when you're giving to Krishna, it's not we are giving, I give. It belonged to Krishna in any case to start with, my dear friend. You are holding false proprietorship over it for a long time. And you realize one day, it's not mine, it's Krishna's. So giving Krishna what only belongs to him. And when you give what only belongs to him, he gives himself to you. And when you have Krishna, then what remains? And Prabhupada said at the time of death, Kuch ichha nahi. And no ichha remains. And when you have no desires, then you don't come back to this material world. Because you only come back here again and again to fulfill those desires which are not yet fulfilled. But when you have Krishna with you, all desires are lost. There's nothing to desire. Dhruva Maharaj had so much desires. When he saw Krishna, he saw Narayan, Vishnu, he said, I was looking for pieces of glass. I got a diamond. Now no more desire. So when you get Krishna, you will automatically, all desires become pale, in insignificance. They go into the background and just disappear, like everything else evaporates out. Illusory energy evaporates out. Krishna is yours. And when you have no more desires, Krishna promises, Yad gatva na nivartantate tadahama parama mama. When you have no desires, you have no material bodies. Because material bodies only are governed by material desires. Krishna takes you back to the spiritual world. This all comes from the principle of giving. The learn to give wherever we are, to our families, to whatever we are doing, with this genuine desire to give ourselves. Because that's the greatest principle to live by. That's what our saints have taught us. That's what Prabhupada is teaching us. That's what our spiritual masters are teaching us. They are living in this world to only give. And that's the true mood a disciple or a follower or admirer should take from his preceptors. how they are giving, let me also give myself wholesale. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.